In the underworld's fiery depths, a devil named Azazel plotted his escape. With horns that pierced the shadows and eyes that burned like embers, he was a force to be reckoned with. Azazel's goal, to claim a mortal realm and bend it to his twisted will. Azazel's target was the kingdom of Elysium, a land of beauty and light, where humans lived in blissful ignorance of the horrors lurking beneath. He began by corrupting Elysium's nobles, whispering dark deals in their ears and fueling their ambitions. As Elysium's corruption grew, so did Azazel's power. He raised an army of lesser devils, each with their own twisted skills, and began his assault on the mortal realm. Elysium's king, desperate for a solution, turned to a mysterious sorceress, Lyra. Lyra, a woman with ties to ancient magic, knew of Azazel's plans. She gathered a group of heroes, a skilled warrior, a cunning thief, and a young mage, to stop the devil's rampage. Together they'd face Azazel's minions and the darkness he brought. The battle raged across Elysium's lands, with Azazel unleashing his fury on the mortal heroes. But Lyra's team fought back, using their skills and the power of Elysium's light to push the devils back. In the final confrontation, Azazel faced Lyra. The sorceress revealed a secret. She'd made a pact with a greater power, one that would grant her the strength to defeat Azazel, but at a terrible cost. Azazel, enraged, unleashed his true form, and the battle shook Elysium's foundations. Lyra's team fought to hold the line as she faced the devil. In the end, Azazel was bound, not destroyed, and Elysium was saved. For now. The cost? Lyra's soul was claimed by the power she'd used, and she'd become a force against the darkness, ensuring Elysium's safety, but losing herself in the process. Azazel, trapped, vowed to escape and continue his conquest. The battle between devils and mortals continued, with Elysium caught in the crossfire. Azazel's binding didn't last long. In the underworld's depths, whispers of Elysium's light and Lyra's sacrifice reached other devils, sparking a power struggle. A ruthless devil named Malphus saw an opportunity to overthrow Azazel's rule and claim Elysium for himself. Malphus began manipulating events in Elysium, playing on the fears and desires of its people. The kingdom's fragile peace crumbled, and factions rose to exploit the chaos. Lyra, now a shadow of her former self, watched from the shadows, her new purpose clear. Stop Malphus and protect Elysium. Elysium's heroes, scattered by Azazel's defeat, were called back by Lyra. The warrior, Aaron, the thief, Lila, and the mage, Eli, reunited for one last stand against the rising darkness. But they'd have to face their own demons first. Malphus had personal hooks in each of them. As Malphus's influence spread, Elysium's people began turning on each other. The devil's whispers fueled paranoia, and the kingdom teetered on the brink of civil war. Lyra's team knew they'd have to act fast, but to defeat Malphus, they'd need a secret weapon. In the underworld, Azazel sensed Malphus's play. Furious at the upstart's betrayal, he made a deal with Lyra. He'd give her the power to stop Malphus if she'd help him reclaim his place as Elysium's true master. Lyra hesitated. Did she trust a devil? But Elysium's fate hung in the balance. She agreed, and Azazel granted her a sliver of his power, enough to take on Malphus, but at a cost she'd have to pay later. The stage was set for a showdown. Malphus, with Elysium's throne in his sights, faced Lyra and her team. Azazel watched from the shadows, waiting for his moment to strike. Malphus, sneering at Lyra's alliance with Azazel, unleashed a horde of twisted creatures on Elysium's capital. The city burned as its people turned against each other, fueled by the devil's whispers. Lyra, empowered by Azazel's gift, led the charge. With Aaron, Lila, and Eli by her side, they cut through Malphus's minions, heading for the devil himself. But Malphus wasn't one to fight fair. He'd captured Elysium's king, using him as a puppet to issue a decree. Anyone who sided with Lyra would be executed as a traitor. The people, confused and scared, began to turn against her. Lila, the thief, snuck into the palace to rescue the king, while Arain and Eli held off the mob. Lyra faced Malphus in a fiery duel, their powers clashing as Elysium's fate hung in the balance. Azazel watched, amused, as Lyra struggled to keep Malphus at bay. He whispered a secret to her. Use the king's power, not yours. Lyra understood. She'd channel Elysium's own light against Malphas. The plan worked. With the king's power, Lyra banished Malphas back to the underworld. Elysium's people, freed from the devil's influence, turned on the remaining minions. Victory was theirs, but at a cost. Azazel appeared, claiming his due, Lyra's service in the mortal realm to guide Elysium's future. Lyra, bound to the devil's will, knew she'd fight to protect the kingdom and herself from the darkness within. Elysium's heroes parted ways, changed by their ordeal. Aaron sought redemption, Lila vanished into shadows, and Eli delved deeper into magic. Lyra, now Azazel's agent, walked a thin line between light and darkness. The game wasn't over. Azazel had a new plan, one that'd bring Elysium to its knees, or make it stronger.